Hotel St. Marie, how may I direct your call?
Hi, will you connect me to room 762, Freddy Farmer's room?
Thank you.
Morning.
Mr. Tim.
Yeah, who's this?
Hello, this is Don McLeod.
Mr. Cloud, how you been?
Pretty good. How about you?
All right.
Do you remember me?
No, I can't say I do. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember.
Remember when you played the Heart of Illinois Fair here in Peoria a few years ago?
Right.
It was July 7th or July 18th, 1989.
Oh, you got a good memory. Boy,
And I had a girl with me named Angel, and we sat in my car for a few hours.
Wow.
And I took you shopping to the drugstore, and you bought some National Enquirers.
Oh, my goodness.
And you even won a lottery ticket and gave me $5 for gas. And we sat there and you recorded stuff for me. I don't know if you remember.
Wow. I can't say I do, but I'm glad you called.
Okay, yeah, because I met you at that Jim Steakhouse, and I followed you guys' bus.
What are you doing now?
Right now, I'm sitting in Peoria, living and putting out this new magazine called Fanatic.
Oh.
And we want to put you on the cover and get this interview with you.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, the last time you played Peoria was...
You got the recorder on?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you sure it's working?
Sure, it's fine. I tested it.
All right.
What did you think of Peoria the last time you played here?
Well, remember, there was a song written, I Wish I Wasn't Peoria.
Right.
Sung by the Happiness Boys in 1923. So I was glad to play there because it reminded me of the song. I could have sung the song there.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, it was nice there. It was a small little place.
Right.
It's like a middle-class country town.
All right.
Frankly, I could see why they wrote the song.
Yeah.
In 1923, when they sang the song, the Happiness Boys, I think it was on Banner Records, I can't remember, but because it was just a typical, town in America.
Okay, great. Also, when did you move to Des Moines, Iowa from New York City?
Well, this happened last October. My management here now is, Steve Plim and Dixon and Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lister, these, SMC Corporation. So they moved me here and take care of some of these, bills here. So I'm here for a while.
What do you think of living in Iowa compared to living in New York City?
I really like it in Des Moines. It is. They ask me that a lot of times. Even Goldie Hawn said, "You're living in Iowa, in Des Moines." I said, "Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I'm very quiet. I have a nice hotel room here, and as long as they keep me up, I can't complain."
Okay. If you don't mind, how old are you now?
Oh, well, I'm near 65.
Really? Because I have a lot of people ask me that, and I tell them every time. The time I met you, you were one of the older gentlemen I'd hang out with, but you also, at the same time, when I was with you, it felt like I was with one of the youngest people I've been with.
Oh, Mr. Cloud, you're wonderful. Thanks. Are you still with that girl, Miss Angel?
No, I'm not. I actually have a new one. We just had a little daughter.
Oh, you're married.
No, we never did get married, but we live together, and I take care of her.
Well, you're honest. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Her name's Audrey Elizabeth.
Oh, that's a nice name.
How is your daughter Tulip doing these days?
Oh, well, I haven't heard from her. I just called her when I came here in October, and all I know is she got married.
Oh, yeah?
And it's too bad. I can't blame her for, there's not even a feeling here because I haven't had much chance to be a father. She was with her mother most of the time.
Yeah.
And this career has been up and down like a yo-yo.
I see. And so that's kept you on the road a lot.
Yeah, and so this goes back, who knows when. I've been trying to make it again since 1970.
Yeah.
The 2 years of 68 and 69 were nice, but, like everything else, it's amazing that with all his problems, Boy George made it again.
Yeah, I just saw his video yesterday.
Is he on the charts again?
I'd tell you the truth, I really don't know. I imagine if he's got a video out, he's probably somewhere on there, depending on, I don't know where at on the chart,
But that's the breaks, you just got to keep trying.
Yeah. Music's only as good as your last hit. I guess they kind of use you up. I know how that goes with the music industry.
Yeah, I tell you, it's just, it's been a long stretch without Tip to the Tulips.
Okay, can you tell me, I heard that you had plans to open a theater in Branson, Missouri. What's the deal with that?
The plans are arrived for the theater. Not there, however, going to Branson and playing.
Oh, I see.
At the Branson Variety Theater.
Uh-huh.
Is right now in the works. It is just inches from having the contract signed.
Great. I bet you're happy about that.
Well, I am. I'm not jumping to the ceiling, but I'm glad to be working. It'll be a rough grind there, about 10 shows a week. They might be having an Elvis act on the bill with me.
All right. So when do you think that'll be starting?
Well,
this summer, maybe? Or?
Maybe the 28th of April. At this point, as I said, it's inches away from being signed, and nothing has taken place yet.
So you'll still be residing in Iowa then?
Always.
Okay.
At least for a while, as long as they want me here.
Okay. Also, you recorded a version of AC/DC's Highway to Hell. Is it only available in Australia?
Yep, I tell you. Now, it sure is. In fact, talking about living, I'll be in Iowa, but when I'm in Branson, I'll be there. If I'm there long enough, I'll be there for about 4 or 5 months.
Uh-huh.
So I'll go back to this hotel, but I'll be living in Branson while I'm playing there. Now, the Highway to Hell is only in Australia. It's not been released here, and I will just leave a number as I'm talking. You dial 011-612-327-5745.
Okay.
And that will bring you into Martin Sharp, who has all the details about this record. Because what I heard is that it was getting requests on a very young show, a rock show called Rage, R-A-G-E.
Oh, okay.
And so it looks like it's making some noise out there.
Great, good to hear it. Will you be covering any other classic songs in the future?
Well, I recorded Rebel Yell out there.
Oh.
And Even Destruction with His Majesty's Orchestra, which is the heavy metal band I did Highway to Hell with, and those tapes are being, altered, just put together the right way for production.
Great. I was going to ask you, who are some of your favorite bands or musicians today?
I tell you the truth, Mr. Clown, my big weakness is that I haven't heard anyone. I couldn't tell you what the number one song is today, which is a shame, but I do hope to keep more abreast of this music. So I know the raps around and all this, it's a different trend and setting, and as every generation brings new types of music to their fold.
Right.
But, right now, except for what I've seen on TV, I couldn't tell you one artist on the chart, but I will in a month from now.
Okay, great. Do you have any upcoming shows coming up besides your Branson gigs?
That's the main one, except for a couple of jobs in Florida. At the Holiday Isle out there, the Isle of Marana for Mother's Day, but Branson is the main thing right now.
Okay, I heard you're playing at a radio station opening
tonight. I have to go today.
Oh, I see.
Later on to Davenport.
So that'll be something different.
Well, as long as they want it.
Okay, did you have a good time at the recent Laugh-In reunion?
Great time.
Oh, yeah?
That was in January 15th of this year. They showed the show on February 7th. But it was a great time to be renewed with these great stars from Goldie Hawn to Lily Tomlin, Ruth Buzzy, Henry Gibson, Alan Suits, Dave Madden. Too bad Dan Rowan wasn't there. But they were all there. Dick Martin was there. It was just like George Slaughter, the producer, just like years ago. I was 1 minute in the big time again.
Yeah.
That night, the cameras were popping. Over 2,000 people were there. The press was asking questions, and Lily Tomlin, Goldie Hawn still looked good. So did Henry Gibson.
So it was good to see everybody again.
Yeah, Dick Martin showed his age, but his wife Dolly Martin looked very well.
Are there any women in your life these days?
Huh?
Are there any women in your life these days?
No, I've got, as you know, a second wife. She's living in New York now with Jan, and so there's nothing in my life right now.
I see. Who is the most beautiful woman in the world to you?
Today?
Yeah.
Well,
Thought I'd throw that one in.
well, I'm glad you did. I would still say, even though she's got problems, I would still personally say Vanna White.
Oh, yeah. I remember the song you did, Oh, Vanna.
Boy, what a memory you got.
Yeah.
You know I performed it on the show, on TV. I performed it on the Will Friday show.
Oh, really?
When it was still on, and she sent me through him. She gave me a autographed picture.
Great.
But she is, in my opinion, right now, still the most beautiful woman in the world. But I've yet to read an article. I have it on the bed here, and I don't know. There's an article about her in this week's. I don't know. I just have it on the bed here. Where did I put the? Oh, here it is. I just had it here. Here it is. Now, I've yet to read them. They're all on my bed, and they are every week. The Sun, the Examiner, the Globe, the Star, and the latest Inquirer. But it's let's see what. Yeah, it's in the Examiner, where it says on the March 30th issue, says Vanna wastes away to skin and bones, while hubby romps with blonde sex bot. And I wonder, I hope this thing is not true, because if it is, she lost a kid. It's not easy to have a happy marriage.
Yeah.
She could be hurting. So I just pray that, but otherwise I still think she's the most beautiful woman that I have seen.
Great. When Tiptoe did become a hit in 68, 69, did you have a lot of Tiny Tim groupies at the time?
Not a lot, but they were there.
They were there.
They were there in scattered form, but, they try to get up to your hotel room, and some of them did. Temptation is always around when that happens.
Yeah, I bet.
Always around. Nothing much happened there, but I certainly was no angel before I got married, and I thank the good Lord I did before it could get worse. The thing, thank God Christ, but the thing is that I had a scattered few, and there was a time when I was declarked through a party on the boat going up the river somewhere in California for 2 hours, and two girls came up to me. They wanted to know if they could make a plastic cast, in the private part. And, like I did with, I think, Frank Zappa's, I don't know.
Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah, right. And, of course, I was tempted, but praise the Lord, I said, no, you can't do that. You're 15 years old,
Yeah.
It wasn't easy to say it. Thank God the Christ of the strength. But other than that, I didn't have half as many as some of these stars today.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a political question.
Sure.
If you don't mind. What do you think of the gays in the military issue that's predominant in the news these days?
Great question. That's a great question. I want to say right now, I hope they hear this part before I give the other part.
Okay.
If you're laying in the street and you got a priest and a minister and a rabbi coming down, and they all pass you by, and a gay person helps you, that man is the one who's done the good deed.
Right.
Now, and so what I say now is not meant in criticism, but it's meant that I would say this to my daughter or son if I had to.
Okay.
However, and I've worked with them, they've been fine people to me, I've worked in clubs with them. Unfortunately, however, and I am bitter against anyone who hits them or kills them, and the law that doesn't take quicker action to those people who kill them or hit them, because as the commandment, thou shalt not kill, as well.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they do not belong in the armed forces. They do not belong in this. President Clinton seems to radiate to me one of the most compassionate presidents, who's trying his best, kind president, to do his best for the people, like President Kennedy did, and President Roosevelt.
Yep.
However, good guys finish last in this world.
Yep, that's true.
And he's trying to be everything to everyone. And I hope those smiles don't turn into frowns very shortly.
Yeah.
The reason it's a disgrace for them to be in the armed forces, because even though the scriptures, say in chapter 6 of the first book of Corinthians, no effeminates, no abusers of themselves with mankind. In chapter 6 of the first book of Corinthians, St. Paul is saying, no abusers of themselves with mankind, no effeminate, etc., shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now you were like that, but now you've found Christ, and you've changed. If these people have a problem, it's a sick problem.
Yeah.
We pray for mercy on the judgment day, but technically they're nice people in their own right, but they have a problem.
So you think homosexuals
They prey on with each other, which is against nature, and by bringing them into the armed forces, where our forefathers have died at Iwo Jima, died in the bloody battles in Germany, the First World War, Second World War, by bringing them into the armed forces, you are making the armed forces into an effeminate type of organization and downgrading this country. The fact that they are in Europe in the armed forces have no equal to this country. America must stay solid and one world in this position, and and not even in the armed forces, by mixing them into politics, into the Senate, they cannot function normally. It should be like it was in the old days. They should have jobs undercover, in the stock boys and this and that, but not in positions where America has been known to have masculinity, when the part fits. It does not fit the service. It becomes an embarrassment to the armed forces and for those who died for this country. This is definitely a no-no. It's a shock. It's a shock and a shame to see them even in politics. And while I'm on this subject, I don't want to forget, it is a shame and a if anything is second to this, and I've said this back 20 years ago, it is a shame to see women being heighted as equal to men when they are not. A woman's place belongs in the home. She has destroyed this country. She has made this country effeminate by having her ticket takers, parking meter ladies, by putting them in the White House, by putting them, in man's position, and worse than ever is to see a woman give a baseball score, go into a man's dressing room in a locker after the game is over. I tell you, this country is going down into an effeminate. The woman is leading, and any time a woman leads in a position which is a man's job, this country has to suffer. Part of the recession, part of the depression, are that women are working in men's positions and not staying at home. And another thing is that there is no male, Susan B. Anthony, to stand up and say, stop, they're not getting in. They prostitute themselves with the women so that the women will have positions instead of being in the home. A woman belongs as a nurse, a woman belongs as a cook, a woman belongs in the laundry, maybe as a secretary. She does not belong in the White House.
And a mother.
Right. But she does not belong in the White House. She is the servant of man. She is subservient to man, according to the 3rd chapter of Genesis, 3:16, when the woman was the first one to fall to Satan's lie, and the man is dominant over her. He shall have rule over you. 3:16, chapter 3:16 verse in Genesis. So this country is going down because the woman has been highlighted to an equality with man. She is not equal. All are not created equal, and woman is certainly not equal to man. She is part of man, and man is part of God. And that's why this country is going down. And that's the second reason.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you one more thing before you ask me the next question. While I'm hot on this. Abortion. Abortion. The sin of this world. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to definitely pinpoint to you on your recorder, I thank Jesus Christ for his blessing, right here in black and white, so I don't say I'm going back to that book I told you about, The first book, there are two. The first book of Corinthians,
Right.
I'm going to find it and pinpoint it to you, so I'm not guessing. It's chapter 9, 8, 7. It's chapter 6. This has not even been brought up in all the arguments with abortion's pro and con. This is the definitely stated reason where abortions are wrong.
Okay.
For it says here meaning in chapter 6 of the first book of Corinthians, okay, chapter 6, 14th verse, 15th verse, sorry, chapter 6, 15,
Okay.
first book of Corinthians, chapter 6, 15th verse. Don't you know that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of a harlot? God forbid. Don't you know that he who's joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. Flee fornication. Every sin a man does is outside the body, but he that commits fornication sins against his own body. Don't you know that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which you have of God? You are not your own. I'll repeat this. Chapter 6, 19th verse. What? Don't you know ye not, that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which you have of God, and you are not your own? Meaning, the woman's body is not hers. She does not have the right to choose what to do with it. If she gets raped, that kid should not suffer. We could have been aborted. We could never have tasted pizza. We could never have had ice cream. We could never have been talking now.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, so you can bet your sweet life that, and my life, that abortion is murder. It is, everyone will have to pay on the judgment day according to their understanding. Now, if you think we're talking, forget what you hear on the radio. In my opinion, we are talking to a very angry, bitter, fierce God. He is not laughing unless for the sorrow of mankind. Look at the hurricanes in Florida.
Yeah.
Look at the destruction, the blizzard almost a few weeks ago. This is the beginning of the end. We are in dangerous times.
When do you think the end will be?
And this country, the worst thing that's now happening in this country, there are condoms in school. There are condoms that permit birth control. There are now injections they want to give to women not to have children. And while this is happening, the good Lord is one step ahead, because he is causing more cancers and more frustrations and lung cancers in women than ever before. I tell you, this is a destruction of mankind. The biggest lie is that this world will be overpopulated. Why, you can't count the grains of sand in your hand. And basically, this world will never be overpopulated. And if so, then we're on the way to the moon. Because if this world continues, we're coming closer to contact with outer space. So it's a lie that the world will be overpopulated. Men and women are not having children because of comfort. Marriage is being made into a prostitution with a license. I tell you, it doesn't matter if a man has a job or not. His job in marriage is to have children. Otherwise, unless it's a rare case where the doctor says, the wife will die, even in an abortion, if it's a rare case where the woman can die, what can you do? But most of the time, it's not.
Right.
And these women are having abortions. They're destroying the world. They're destroying mankind. And because of this, the black race, the Mexican races, and all the other races who are poor are multiplying, while the white race is diminishing.
Right.
I tell you, this is the worst philosophy in the world that we are living in right now with these condoms in school. There is no safe sex. The condoms promote birth control, and AIDS will still be here. Now you can get it from kissing. So I tell you that the good Lord is always one step ahead. I mean, the anger of God is just coming upon this country and the world. We live, especially into those who profess to believe in Jesus Christ. Now, what you see in the priests with children, when you see what's going on, priests with young girls, these are the beginnings. I mean, these are unbelievable things that can't be hidden under the rug.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot worse, I know.
See, now, so basically, Satan is having a field day before the end.
Okay, what about the Rodney King and racism issue that's rising up in this country these days? All the outbreaks of supposed racism and everything, and the black man supposedly, a lot of them want to rise above and make us, the white race, pay for what happened back in the other days.
Right.
The slavery. Do you think that's part of the master plan of the world coming to the end and all that?
That's a good question, Mr. McCloud. I tell you, we do face a race problem. Dr. Graham, Billy Graham, said one thing years ago, which he's right, that you can't have race relations start in the heart. The race relations, if it's not in the heart, it's not going to happen. And while what we see here, especially with the white man, is lip service, he is trying to force himself to love the blacks. But most of them do not like the blacks. They feel uncomfortable with them. They don't know how to relate with them in public. They smile and they're nice, but they have no understanding of what the black has gone through slavery.
Right.
I mean, they only see it. They feel uncomfortable with them. They're only there in business. As soon as they move into a neighborhood, immediately there comes a resentment. On the other hand, you got the blacks for hundreds of years who've been chained by the white man, by England, then by America, from Africa into slavery. Now, one has got a picture, hundreds of years, day by day, second by second, in 1810, and 1811, and 1812, of the blacks being poor slave traders, beat and bruised and everything. Their families changed to white names. I mean, so now, when Lincoln freed the slaves, Lincoln was shot, in my opinion, because he meant well, but he didn't proceed with it well. He didn't know the problems that he caused. And so by freeing the slaves, they were wandering to the east, and the north, who fought for them, didn't want them. And so they put them in the east, in New York, whatever, in the worst places they could find. So surely, today you have great resentment in the black race toward the whites.
Right.
In fact, it's my opinion that they hate the whites who stand up for them in civil rights. They don't want no help really from them.
Yeah.
They want to do it on their own. You can see the attitudes. You can look at their faces in the supermarkets, especially in New York, in the post office. You can see the bitter hate they have, which I get these vibes, because of years of slavery. Now, you talk about Jews. You talk about Jews not liking Germans. And that was only for a period of time, for about 4 or 5 years, for a small time, in the concentration camps. Well, talk about blacks not liking the whites for centuries, being in the hot South, on plantation fields. Yeah. And then when the North fought for them, to free them, they didn't want them.
Yeah.
The South kept them more, and there were many black slaves who wanted to be with the masters, who, at that time, the white men who were good to them. So basically, the North was the one who didn't want them, and yet fought for the freedom. So there is a great bitterness. They got second helpings. They got second. What should have been done? What should have been done is that, and I say this with respect, they should have been sent back to their own country.
Yeah.
And let them start a life for themselves. Instead, they were wandering people, and nobody wanted them, especially in the North, that fought for them. And they were given the second helping in all the dregs of the dirt of this country.
Yep. If they would have went back, a lot of the resentment and hatred probably would have been avoided.
Right. So today we do face a race problem. We face you can see it in rap music. I can feel it everywhere.
Yep.
That there is no harmony. It's only a forced, false glitter. It's a forced, false glitter. Really, the white man, including myself, doesn't really understand the black, and the black can't communicate with him because he's been years, and they're just coming up now. So it's a very dangerous cycle here. The Rodney King incident. Now, I'm only saying this because I don't know, and I got to be careful. So I'm choosing my words very carefully.
Okay.
In my opinion, now, the Rodney King incident, well, I don't know what's going on here. And I say this, I'm trying to look fairly at everything.
Okay.
If Rodney King surrendered right away, and then they beat him, they would have been guilty of race prejudice and beating an innocent man.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they had to chase him for a while.
Yeah, supposedly we didn't see the other part of that video that was out,
Well, I haven't watched it. But didn't they chase him? Didn't he give them a chase in a car for about 7 minutes?
I think so.
Okay. Now, if he gave them a chase, if he didn't surrender right away, and he gave them a run at high speeds where they could have crashed into something, where he put them through mental trauma, where those 7 minutes were like 7 hours, and put their lives in danger, then I could see, for the moment, the excitement that they had in their emotions, where that happened after they caught him. It's like running after a crook after he gives you a chase, and then catching him where your emotions are too high, and you start hitting him violently right away.
Yeah, it makes you twice as mad.
Right, so this is what has to be brought out. If he surrendered right away and they did that, they are absolutely guilty.
I see.
But if he didn't, and he put their lives in danger, at that time when they caught him, they were emotionally high, and that's a normal thing to happen, whether it's white or black. They were emotionally high at the time when they caught him, and that's why they beat him there. You see, so one has to understand what's going on. We pay the cops for, with our taxes for protection, and then we cry help when they protect us.
So you think it was a racially motivated incident, or just a human thing that happened?
I think it was a human thing that happened. I do not think it would have been racially motivated. I think it would have been racially motivated if he surrendered without a cause, without a fight at the beginning, and then they did it. Then I think they would definitely been guilty.
Right.
But in this case, it was not racially motivated, in my opinion. It was just the heat of the moment. They could have gotten into an accident. He put them through a trauma in those 7 minutes. And basically, well, okay, you got the bad in everything. Sometimes you got bad policemen. They're working under a strain, but most of the time, I mean, these white cops don't want to have. They're scared going into these places. They're scared going into places where the blacks are in the majority. I mean, they know they're tough. They got troubles there, and they're not really looking to cause trouble in someone's backyard.
Right.
But they've got to. At the other hand, they've got to keep their job too, and their duty to mankind. So I don't think it was racially motivated. I think what is happening, you've got a lot of scared whites. You can't blame them.
Yep.
The blacks are stronger physically. They are, by nature, the blacks are stronger physically. There's hardly been a white man to beat them in the ring because they are physically stronger. Their heart's stronger. They really love to win, especially over the white man. And they're carrying the grudge over hundreds of years of slavery. And you can't blame them in that case.
Do you think it's right that like, say myself, a guy that's 27 years old that really had nothing to do with that, do you think it's right that they should still carry that over to people like us?
It's not right. But remember, they're fighting the slavery battle. They're still fighting the days of slavery.
Yeah.
There's a bitter scar against the white man, and let's remember this.
Right.
Let's remember this. If a white man professes that he cares for the blacks in front of them and then goes back home and curses them, or makes fun of them, I don't want to be around there, then even though they're not there, he already has his prejudice. That's why Billy Graham said it has to come from the heart.
Yep.
The way racial prejudice will only start ending when the blacks get on their own for attacking the white and the whites get on their own for attacking the black. As long as they take sides because of the color, there is no racial harmony here.
Right.
It's only a force. And let's face it, wherever the blacks move, the whites move out. They just don't like them. They don't feel good with them. It's still here today as it was 30 years ago.
Do you think it's as bad, like, say, in a big city like New York compared to, like, Iowa?
What do you mean?
Do you think that the prejudice is as strong between the black people and the white people in a bigger city compared to, like, a smaller Midwestern type place like Iowa?
Yeah, I think it's definitely worse in the big cities.
Okay.
Sure, definitely worse in the big cities. Here, the whites are still a majority, and but it's certainly, there's no doubt about it. I mean, what's happening is, here's what the whites are saying this: the New York City has become a jungle. It's hard to live with it. I'm getting out. I'm going to Florida. What they really mean is, look what the blacks have done.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, yes, and the reason it has happened, there has been no control. We've had socialists and liberals have said we should do this, we should do that, and they themselves move out when the blacks move in.
Yep.
So definitely, Everything's gone astray here. It's from all this, from abortions to women leading to homosexuals in the service. A disgrace to those who died and fought for this country. And there's nobody in the White House. The reason I voted for President Bush.
Oh, so you're not a Clinton follower, fan?
Huh?
So
No. Don't get me wrong. He's a great guy. He's a liberal fella. He has a lot of heart. He wants to do good. But the main reason I voted against him is because President Bush was against abortion.
Oh, I see.
You take someone like President Kennedy, President Roosevelt, these great guys. If they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they're right. But if they interfere with God's law and they freeze up and they say you can do what you want with abortion, even if they have 99 other things good in the eyes of the public, the fact that they go against God's laws is more important to him. And he does not want anyone to kill. Thou shalt not kill, which abortion does.
That's right.
You see?
I have one more question I'd like to ask you. What are your 3 favorite pleasures in life? It's a standard question I ask everybody that I interview in my magazine.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you something, my friend. And this sounds crazy. And I'll mention it. The only pleasure I have is looking at beautiful girls. Now, I thank you for your time, and I know it's your bill, but it's something that I've got to say also in relationship with priests and sensualities with children now. Because if you saw 60 Minutes last week, did you?
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, with the priest deal.
Oh,
yeah, I did see that.
This was a very big interview. Now, you see, my first biggest pleasure, and really is only looking at beautiful women, starting, and I'll say this right out, from the age of 16 to 25. Now, this is the greatest, with pure thoughts. Now, I can look at a porno movie and not only look at that movie for the face of the woman to see if she's pretty or not and go into my dream world. I don't dare think of any evil things and naughty things because it would be like committing fornication just in thought.
Right.
I only look at the face and the body and praise the Lord for creating such a beautiful creature as a woman in her youth, which is the greatest thing, in her youth from 16 to 25. Where I could look and dream. However, I don't dare touch because that's his laws now in this world. I personally, I've said if I ever get to heaven, and my wife knows about this, if I ever get to heaven, I pray he will make me another Miss Stephanie. She is the eternal woman. I praise the Lord for letting me have great parents, for making me a star one time, and for letting me live this long. Pretty good health. But Miss Stephanie from Dallas, Texas, I say if I ever get to heaven, Lord, I pray you will make me another Miss Stephanie, and with 21 years old, and put in her the grace to love me and the grace to like me at least. And we could roam forever in paradise. But this world, she doesn't even like me. Forget the love. She's graduating college this year. So Miss Stephanie from Texas is my greatest ideal if I ever get to heaven. And I also, Miss Jan can have anyone she wants, Tom Selleck, whatever. But in this particular case, what's important was I disagree with the Pope. God bless, it's my opinion. I believe there is SEX in heaven. I believe that for those who died in the wars and missed this great thing, as long as it's done right for marriage and children, this great thing will be restored in another earth, where SEX will be permitted under the right guise. So people who missed it will be able to achieve it in the right way under God's laws. Now, the reason, in my opinion, that these priests and these bishops have these affairs with children is that it's not SEX that's the problem. It's sensuality. We all get sensual. These kids manufacture innocence. Innocence can be very stimulating to a lot of people, and it's not. Even the priests were married. Less would do that, but still, you still find even that with marriage, because a lot of Protestants are married and they still fool around. Jimmy Swaggart was married, and look what he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hear you exactly.
Okay, but the point is, in this case, it's sensuality. The devil is around 24 hours a day. He never sleeps, seeking who to devour, especially the religious. So that's why these things happen. He preys on the sensual parts. And once a priest or a minister does this, he loses 1,000 in the fold of Jesus Christ. My suggestion in this case, what should have been done, is the minute that a priest or a minister or a rabbi even, who knows what they do, you don't ever hear about it. The fact is, what should happen, when they feel this coming on, they should admit this to their supervisor to cut the temptation right away and see what can be done.
I hear you.
So my first greatest thing is always beautiful women, to keep them only in the right sense. And one day I pray that I can marry, if I get to heaven, he'll give me Miss Stephanie.
Okay.
The second thing, other than that, I don't think, in fact, that should be first. The first thing is to get to heaven. The second, in this world, is to adore these beautiful women. And the third thing I guess I'd like is just to make another hit record.
Okay. Well, can I get a mailing address from you so I can mail you copies of the magazine when it's out?
Oh, I'd love that.
Sure.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
In fact, if I'm not, when is this coming out?
It'll be out April 25th.
April 25th. All right, let me give you, I may not be here, see?
Okay.
I may be going to Branson, I don't know what, they may be checking me out of here. So let me give you this address.
Okay.
Let me get the, card. Oh, here it is. I got it. Just send it to Tiny Tim.
Okay.
Care of
Okay.
Entertainment America of Iowa, Incorporated.
Of Iowa.
Entertainment
Okay.
America of Iowa, Incorporated.
Okay, got it.
Address is 5807,
Okay.
5807 Fleur Drive. That's F like Fred, L-E-U-R. Fleur Drive.
F-L-U-R?
F-L-E-U-R.
Oh, E.
F-L-E-U-R.
Okay, drive.
5807 Fleur Drive.
Okay.
Suite B like boy.
Okay.
Des Moines, Iowa. That's D-E-S, 2 words.
Okay.
D-E-S space M-O-I-N-E-S.
Okay.
Des Moines, Iowa, 50321.
Great. I will get copies.
Can I hear that read back? Make sure I got it right to you.
Tiny Tim Company of Entertainment America of Iowa.
Tiny Tim care of.
Care of Entertainment America of Iowa Incorporated.
Right.
5807 Fleur Drive, Suite B, Des Moines, Iowa, 50321.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that.
I'll send you a few copies of it.
Please.
And really, it was good talking to you again, too.
Mr. Klaus, my pleasure. Keep well. And keep in touch.
I'll be coming down to see you in Branson again. It's not the last time you've heard of me. I'm a huge fan, and I love you, man.
Oh, well, thanks for your time, and let's see what happens.
Okay, take care, Tiny.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.